I love that backyard flavor. We can taste the meat, you can taste the rub, you can taste a little bit of that sauce, just a hint of that mesquite smoke. Pork ribs are one of America's favorite meats to barbecue, both in the backyard and in the restaurants. And today, we're gonna show you how to cook some amazing hot and fast pork ribs on the Weber Kettle. Although the Kettle is the most popular and versatile grill on the planet, many cooks struggle to cook good barbecue on them because besides being a smallish grill, the fire is so close to the meats that it's quite easy to burn the meats up and ruin a potentially great barbecue. The two secrets to cook show-stopping barbecue ribs on the Kettle is number one, airflow and good fire control, and number two is the dual zone cooking setup, also called indirect cooking. So now that we know what we're gonna do to cook them right, how do we make the flavor just as good as the show-stopping appearance? Stay with me and I'm gonna show you how to make a simple brine that can take a pork rib from good to great. Now let's get fired up and get started. Take this big rack of rib right here. Now this has a little flat back here. We're gonna call this the pork fajita. This I like to smoke it and just use it as little Scooby snacks. I'm going to flip it over. I'm just gonna grab my knife and follow along this line here. And I am a fan of don't trim too much at one time. This has an extra long little edge here that doesn't have bones. It's just a little extra flat. So it has the last bone here at the very end. I'm going to actually take that last one off. It really, it's going to be too small anyway. It's going to toast. The edges are going to toast. One thing I like to do is just kind of square off the little corner here. You can round it off or just corner it off the way I did that. I'm going to go ahead and cut this breastbone off. Really not necessary here. Generally, you're going to see the bone sticking out back here on the side if you trim it further back. But I'm going to leave it on today. I want to have a nice wide rack. So this is what you call a trimmed spare rib. Now, I'm going to say normally I want to brine them for about 4 to 5 hours. I'm going to put my ribs in here. I like to wrap my ribs in here about like that. And I want the meat facing to the inside. That way it'll get the maximum brine. Be very careful and don't spill it over the place the way I've done many times. Boom, there you go. In this case, I don't quite have as much brine, so I'm going to fold these over and push them down in there. I want the ribs completely covered with the brine. Just like that. We're going to put the lid on, go stick them in the refrigerator. It's been actually 4 hours that the ribs have been in the brine. I just pulled them out of the refrigerator. I'm going to rinse them a little bit because the brine was a little bit salty, and what I want to do is add some more flavor to the ribs. So now we're just going to pat dry them a little bit. So now we're going to take a little bit of our wow. Let's go ahead and season up this rib. Give it a nice little coat. Don't have to put it on too heavy because we already have a little bit of salt from the brine in the ribs. So we're just going to let it sit there like that. No butter, no mustard. We really don't need any kind of binder. This is a backyard rib. Let's go outside, get the kettle out, and get fired up again. Now, what I did, I used some Pro Pits char logs. These are made out of 100% mesquite. They come out of Mexico. They smell amazing. I also threw an extra little chunk of mesquite in there that you saw because I like mesquite and I like the little flavor that it imparts. It's a true South Texas flavor for us that live down here in South Texas. I also went ahead and seasoned up that other little strip of meat that came off of the side of the ribs and the little end piece. I'm going to put that over here real close to the fire. It's going to get cooked real quick. Sitting right around 350 degrees right now. A little hotter than I want. I'm going to choke the air down to just about right there open. Not a whole bunch. All right, friends, it's been just shy of an hour. We haven't looked at the ribs or done anything to them. We have not even lifted the lid. Let's give them a quick little spritz and rotate them 180 degrees. We have some nice looking ribs. We're going to give them a little spritz, make them a little moist. And this other little piece of meat here, that's the edge of that was towards the rib, you can see it's starting to cook really good. You also see down here that the bones are starting to pull back really nice, really nice. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go ahead and grab this whole rack, rotate it 180, flip this and rotate it 180 degrees, and try to get it a little bit further away from the fire. Now this other delicious looking little piece of rib is going to go right in my big mouth in about 30 minutes when it cooks a little bit longer. It does have a little bit of pork juice coming out of it from there. Just spritz it off. You're going to lose a little bit of your rub and it's going to affect the appearance a little bit, but it's not going to hurt the flavor at all. All right, let's get the lid back. We'll be back probably in about 30 to 45 minutes. It's been almost 2 hours. I could smell the little piece of rib like I could smell them. They were done. So I went ahead and wrapped them and took them out. And what I did, I moved the rack of ribs a little bit closer to the fire. You develop a sense of smell and a sense of, an intuitive sense, if you want to call it that. The more you do it, the better you get at it. I can smell that this one is really getting very, very close and needing to be wrapped just by the smell of the ribs. They smell great. I'm going to pull the lid off. So as you can see here, it's starting to get some really nice color. So one of the things I'm going to do, I'm going to flip it right over the fire there for just a couple of seconds. You can see here that there's a lot of sizzle going on underneath because it's close to the fire. All right, it was only a few seconds. Let's see what we got. We have a very hot fire under there, so I don't want to burn them. They look really good. I can tell there's more heat on this side, so I'm going to slide them over just a little bit. Actually, I'm going to rotate them. Those bones are pulling back really nice. You can see that. All right, you can see the sizzle. We got a nice little sear going there. See the moisture starting to come out from the inside of the meat. I'm going to give them a quick little spread. We're going to put the lid on. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes to wrap them. You want to make sure your exhaust vent is away from the heat on the side that your meat is on, because that allows some of the convection and the smoke and the heat to get onto your meat and cook the meat. Time for us to wrap these ribs. We are cooking hot and fast. This is our temperature right now. We're still sitting a little over 300. And you can see right here, I still have the vents about halfway or maybe a little more than halfway closed. Those little char logs create some amazing heat. This is kind of a traditional Texas style rib, but we like a little sauce here in Texas too now. We are going to wrap them meat side down in a little bit of barbecue sauce. We have some real pretty color there. That bone has pulled back really nice, and look at these ribs. Look at that. I mean, they're almost done. We may have to pull them in about 30 minutes, really. Let's go over here to the foil. Today we're using the Texas Wizard barbecue sauce. It's one of my favorites. I'm not gonna put an excessive amount. I'm gonna put a little drizzle on the bottom, a little drizzle on top. And I did say we were gonna check the temperature of the ribs. Let's see where we're at. We may have to pull them out pretty quick. Whew, look at that. 208 degrees. We're gonna just wrap these, set them in there for about 10 minutes to get the sauce onto the meat. We're gonna set those there like that. I'll put a little bit more sauce on top. You can tell by the indirect heat on the bottom. Down here, you got a little bit of char going on here, but it's still soft. Not bad at all. Here, it's a little bit burnt. Those actually taste really good. Let's wrap these ribs up. Quick and easy. And I'm just gonna fold it over like this. Fold it over one more time. All the way across. Flatten out this end here. That makes it very, very nice and tight. Let the meat braise in there. Now my bone's over here on this side. I'm gonna put the bone away from the fire as far away as I can get it indirect here. I'm gonna put it back on, and I'm almost completely gonna close these vents. In 10 to 15 minutes, we're gonna pull them out. So the next time you see these ribs, they're gonna be on the cutting board inside the house. We're back inside in the kitchen. 3 hours and 10 minutes that we cooked these ribs. That includes a 30-minute rest. Whoo-wee, they look good, honey. Oh, baby. Look at that. This is a really nice, beautiful rib. The color's fantastic. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and cut a couple of these, see what they look like. Man, they slice really nice and easy. Wow. Man, I bet they're good. I can't wait to try one of these. Friends, you can cook a hot and fast rib and it can still be very juicy. Look at that. Super moist. Wow. Now I will tell you guys, I was not trying to cook a fall off the bone rib. When I make ribs at home, I like a little tug in there. I like a little bite. So now is the moment of truth. Let's see what our rib tastes like. Yeah. Very, very good. Most of the time when I want a rib at home, it's not a real sweet rib. This little bit of glaze is about all the sweet I need. That's the way we like them here. Even without the sauce. Moist, juicy, and delicious. I had to eat the whole thing, sorry. I'll wrap it up, hun, so you can get a rib. My wife loves rib. I love that backyard flavor. We can taste the meat. You can taste the rub. You can taste a little bit of that sauce. Just a hint of that mesquite smoke. I don't like a real smoky rib. I don't mind a little smoke in there. I like a little smoke in there, but I just like it to be subtle. I've always said a nice, well-balanced rib or piece of brisket or even chicken, whatever you cook. If you've got a nice balance in there, it's gonna be good. Make sure to hit that like button, ring that bell so you're notified of every video that comes out from Arnitect. If you want to get a hold of my WOW, it's at pitmaster.us. The OG's on the same website. If you like the American Pitmaster shirt, you can get those on the same website. We also have a complete backyard masterclass, and you can get that at pitmasterclass.us. I really hope you've enjoyed this video. Keep the smoke light, make it work. Wow, boom. Splish splash, I was taking a bath on a Saturday night. Okay, we're gonna do this again. Buddy, you want a rib?
Okay.
Buddy wants a rib.